Welcome to the Extraordinary Yoga Teacher Summit, created by Great Energy. My name is Christopher, and I'm honored to be co-hosting the summit with Daniela Hess. The Extraordinary Yoga Teacher Summit is here to uplift and empower yoga teachers with the depth, steadiness, and skill that transforms students' lives. Today's session is with our featured teacher, Mark Whitwell, whose wisdom and experience offers so much to this path. Mark Whitwell is the founder of the Heart of Yoga Foundation, a nonprofit committed to yoga education around the world. Mark has taught yoga for many decades throughout the US, Europe, Asia, and Oceania, adapting the principles of the great tradition to the needs of people from many cultures and countries. He's interested in developing an authentic yoga practice for the individual based on the teachings of Tirumalai Krishnamacharya, the teacher of teachers, and his son, TKV Desikachar, and clarified by their friend UG Krishnamurti. After first meeting these great individuals in 1973, Mark realized the importance of their transmissions and committed his life to furthering the communication that there is a right yoga for every person, no matter who the person is. His teachings clarify the profound relevance of ancient wisdom to modern times and aim to deconstruct disempowering hierarchies and help people to stop looking and start living. Mark was the editor and contributor to TKV Desikachar's book, The Heart of Yoga, Developing a Personal Practice, and is the author of Yoga of Heart, The Promise of Love, Sex, and Intimacy, God and Sex, Now We Get Both, and the Hridaya Yoga Sutra. Welcome, Mark.
Welcome.
Wow, very nice. Wow, nothing more to say. That's it.
We're all set.
That's enough. Nothing to add.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here with you and to bring this conversation and your wisdom to this summit. And we'd love to open by inviting you to share through your lens, Mark, what is the heart of yoga?
Well, thank you so much. I was doing a book for my teacher, Desikachar, the son of Krishnamacharya. Who is Krishnamacharya? Thank you, Christopher. You outlined it very nicely. Krishnamacharya is like the grandfather of the yoga industry. He was the teacher of B.K.S. Iyengar and the teacher of K. Batabi Joyce, which is most of the yoga teaching in yoga studios around the world. So my teacher is Krishnamacharya. His son is TKV Desikachar. In 1992, I said to my teacher, Desikachar, there's no availability of your father's teaching in the West. It's not there. The world is full of yoga studios based on Mr. Iyengar's work, but nobody knows about the guru of Iyengar. And he said to me, Mark, please, if you can do something, please do something about that. So I said, well, at least there must be a book. So I spent the next 3 years putting a book together called The Heart of Yoga, Developing a Personal Practice. But I was calling that book The Art of Yoga, A-R-T. I thought it was a great name, The Art of Yoga. And I'm walking on the beach with Desikachar in Adyar, Chennai, India. And he's, Mark, I've got it. It's The Heart of Yoga is the title of the book. So it's Desikachar's title. Later on, I asked him, Sir, what is the meaning of that word, Heart of Yoga? And he said, well, most of all, it's about the teacher-student relationship. It's one of friendship. No more than a friend, no less than a friend. There's the hierarchy's over. There's no social positioning there, one over the other. The teacher is not a superior, not an authority, not even a knower. That creates that dynamic of the person who knows and the person who doesn't know. That's the problem of the world today. That because it denies an individual of the perfection, which is life itself, in this presumption that you have to get to know from somebody bigger than you or somebody greater than you. You know, there is nobody higher than you. There's nobody lower than you. It's just a social construct. So it's the teacher-student friendship that is the heart of yoga, that it is the essence of yoga, that transmits what yoga has to give. The heart of yoga. And then that subtitle, developing a personal practice, that's a big deal, that sentence, because yoga must be adapted to the needs of each individual according to their body type, their age, their health, and their culture. So his Krishnamacharya's statement, there's a right yoga for every person, no matter who the person is. He said, if you can breathe, you can do yoga. So, you know, I pronounce that these principles from Krishnamacharya, the teacher of the teachers, the teacher to Mr. Iyengar and Pattabhi Jois, these principles belong in what they teach. So the heart of yoga is not like a style of yoga, like that's over against this style, that style, you know. The heart of yoga is actually the principles from the Yoga Tantras from 1,000 years, from the 5th to the 14th century. These principles within this period of time called the Tantras. And not to get confused with Neo-Tantra and, you know, the whole idea of tantric sex and all that modern talk. These are profound religious texts that were there throughout Asia, throughout India and Tibet, through all the different language groups and religious points of view, throughout Hinduism, throughout Buddhism, throughout Jainism. There were these tantras. And this hatha yoga was like the mother's milk of that tantric period. So Krishnamacharya found those, and he went to Tibet for 7.5 years. They'd been pushed out of India because after the 14th century, this yoga and spirituality became much more of an autocratic, hierarchical, system of public control, rather than every individual's own participation in the power that is the cosmos. So this yoga went, and he spent 11 years studying in Varanasi, the hub of the Hindu Tantras, and then he found yoga to be missing and took this expedition into Tibet because it had been pushed into isolation, sort of in, far away into sort of hermitage type, isolated places. And he went there for 7 years and studied with his teacher, Rama Mohan Brahmachari, and sort of got these principles, came back into Mysore, studied in the palace of the Maharaj, Krishna Raj Wadya IV, who was the Maharaj and became the student of Krishnamacharya and his patron. And that's where the young Iyengar came, and the young Pattabhi Jois, and got an early training as boys from Krishnamacharya. But the principles they weren't able to get, probably because of their youth, simple as that. There wasn't enough time as young boys. And then they set up their own teaching ideas as just young men. Well, actually, that was Iyengar at the age of 21, but Pattabhi Jois, he became a Sanskrit professor and then went back to teaching yoga at his retirement in his late 60s. So that the exacting principles of yoga, of hatha yoga, did not get to be seeded into what was later popularized in the yoga industry. And where the heart of yoga is basically dedicated to putting it back in into the yoga world, but beyond the yoga world into the public life altogether. And we have lots of programs around the world to do that. So the heart of yoga are the principles that Krishnamacharya brought into this world and made available to all people everywhere, all cultures. His scholarship stated that this Hatha Yoga Tantra was the mother's milk of religious life, that if you have a faith point of view, you need yoga as the practical means to actualize those cultural ideals, including Christian, including Muslim, including Buddhist, including Hindu, anyone who wants to actualize their inspiration. Yeah. So this is what the heart of yoga is.
And of those principles and qualities of being for a practitioner to develop for themselves, what would you say are some of the most important ones for both a practitioner and a yoga teacher to cultivate?
I love it. So it first must be said that, you've heard of the 8 limbs of yoga, the 8 limbs of Patanjali, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. The 8 limbs. Krishnamacharya made it very clear that of those limbs, the 2 that are actually practiced, he said that which you can do, and there's a word for that in Sanskrit, the sadhana, means that which you can do is the asana and pranayama. And by doing your asana and pranayama in the way that is right for you, your body type, age, and health and culture, all the other limbs come as a result, as siddhis is the word, as powers as a result of your asana and pranayama. What asana and pranayama is your whole body intimacy with what life actually is. Right? What it is. What is existence? What is the cosmos? The body is the cosmos, and the body is in a unitary movement with the total cosmos. So, what is the substance of what I am, what you are? I say, you are the power of the cosmos, you, me, and the trees, and the bees, and the galaxies is what we are, what is. So yoga asana is to participate, embrace in what is, as what you are. So there's a great beauty and power in doing asana and pranayama correctly for you. And it is not an attempt to change yourself or to change your state or get somewhere or be something other than what you are. It is to embrace what you are. So it has to be said that just by doing a practice of asana and pranayama that is right for you, everything comes. Meditation comes as a result. Clarity of mind comes as a result. Yama and niyama come as a result. Yama niyama is the common sense principles of an intelligent life. And rather than struggling with those, it's some sort of religious value system, or even a common sense value system, struggling, trying to do better. If you just intimate with life, do my asana, then these come. The same applies to meditation. Rather than the mind struggling with the mind, trying to still the mind, trying to observe the mind and all the rest of it, trying to be mindful, trying to reside as awareness and all that struggle with mind for the idea of an outcome. This yoga is my whole body participation in what life actually is It is power, it is beauty, it is intelligence, and it is intrinsic harmony. This body is in harmony with its own earth realm. It's in a natural context, the natural realm. The body is the natural realm. There's a natural harmony already there. The body has a profound and perfect relationship with air. The body has a profound and perfect relationship with light. And I have to slip in, the body has a profound and perfect relationship with the male-female opposites, the union of opposites that is so powerful and so intelligent and so beautiful, it creates new life in the nurturing force that is life, that we call mother, father, synchronistically creates me, So that is what is here as this. There's no attempt to get there or transcend it, but to participate only, underline that word only, to participate in what life actually is. And then everything, all these siddhis or the gifts of yoga come. So asana and pranayama is the big deal. And a personal practice that's right for age, health, and body type, right? So I hope I'm making some sense to the 2 billion people who are going to listen to this and start practicing yoga.
You are
Come
making
on.
beautiful sense. Yes, thank you. That's very, very clear. And you have a video on YouTube. We'll link that along with your free gift about some of the challenges of modern yoga. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, well, you see, the yoga has been placed in this is what the problem after the 14th century in India and Tibet, where spirituality became the domain of political control. And the promise of this merge of religion and state was, you follow this method, you follow this guru, this swami, this pope, this priest, and you will get to a more sublime, amazing future place. And this idea is a denial of what's already true. Working away on yourself in some kind of enthusiastic or in a sort of an enthusiastic bribe. If you do this, you're going to get that. You're going to get the golden spiritual carrot. You're going to get God. You're going to get enlightened, etc., etc. So yoga has been placed in that psychology of working on yourself to get something. Working on yourself to get something is the denial of the beauty and power and pure intelligence that is already happening as you and me and the trees and the bees, right? It's already there.
And the galaxies. I think you have a children's book title here, Madeline.
It's coming. Yeah.
Oh, good. Because I remember she
Thank
said,
you.
if you want to make a book for adults and it's too hard for them, make it for children.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for children of all ages.
yes.
Yeah. See, obviously, what is already here. I had one guru in India years ago. He said, "Here is God." Like, that started to click. Like, what can create this that I am, that you are, that is the earth realm? I mean, there's something utterly profound and immeasurable and indescribable, unknowable by knowledge in the conventional sense, unknowable by thought. And that is what we are. But along comes culture and society and world religions and so forth, led by authorities, know-it-alls, who develop the model. The model of civilization has been based on the perfect person, but you're not that. And then you're given the arbitrary tools of meditation, yoga, this and that, everything else, an attempt to get to that cultural idea of perfection. That idea is the active denial of the perfection that is life itself, that is you and me, already happening. Yoga is to simply participate in what is already here. My wonderful friend and teacher said, yoga is making love with life, what we already are. So that's my short or long answer. I have much more to say about it, but that is my answer to, what are the problems of yoga in the popular ideas, brands and styles, either in the what we call the yoga gymnastics that have been popularized and branded and stylized and so forth, or in the spiritual ideas of yoga, often associated with Hindu spiritual institutions and swamis and so forth. And that's also in a religious psychology of trying to get to God through some kind of effort. And we emphasize, again, there is no getting to God. Trying to get to God is creating a separate self that is trying to do that. But here is God. What is this that is here? What is this that is happening, the substance of existence? Yoga is simply to participate in that substance, not the ideas within, all exoteric religious groups, whether that be Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, etc., etc. Well, that's why we said earlier on that yoga is the practical means to actualize the ideals of sacred text, of the ideals of culture that, of course, are beautiful. And Krishnamacharya would say equally that Christians need yoga as the practical means to actualize the great beauty within the Gospels. Certainly, we're talking about the Spirit baptism from infinitely above down, however we mystically perceive that, the five-pointed star and the light down, how do we do that? How do we receive what is there, what life is? It's yoga. It's allowing the body to become receptive to what life actually is. So that's yoga. He pointed out, Krishnamacharya, that yoga was always there, even before humanity made up world religions and made up the concept of doctrine and various cultural teachings and various key inspirations, the founders of these world faiths. So before that there was yoga. It was the basis of human realization. How religious realization actually came was through sort of yogic, shamanic participation in reality, in what life actually is. And then there would be sort of visionary, the utterance of reality realizers, such as Christ and Buddha and so forth, were then turned into text, the written word that became exoteric doctrine that actually controlled the public rather than liberated the public. And he said, but yoga was always there, it's just been eliminated. So if you add the yoga to exoteric belief systems, they become esoteric, they become personal participation in what I am and what you are and what the listener to this is. So for us in this heart of yoga and the distribution of the art of yoga through the heart of yoga, The main thing is like, please, everybody, learn how to do a personal practice that's right for you and just do it. Main thing, because all the siddhis, all the promises of religion come through asana
Mark,
and pranayama.
what would you say someone could look for as the signatures and symptoms that they are on the right path for their practice, or perhaps they've gone a little sideways and they want to take a turn somewhere? What are some of the markers that they can look
It's
for?
very easy to go sideways because the world is full of charming offerings. We're talking about the secular world of, promises of future happiness, consuming, getting something. And it's just the same in the spiritual, religious areas. It's really selling something for you to become something other than what you are. So this is fraught with that problem. My teacher, Desikachar, would say, always hold the teacher at arm's length to make sure they're not exploiting you with their particular agendas, which is usually tied up with business, usually. So the markers are, is the teacher a friend? No more than a friend, no less than a friend. At least, Krishnamacharya was asked this, who can be a good teacher? And he said, in his fairly stern voice, he said, you have to be a decent person. So that's the marker. And, hold the teacher at arm's length for a while to see that they're actually capable of two-way friendship. And the other marker is, thank you for leading me down to this area. When you're doing a yoga practice, the breath is the primary feature of the asana, that you're actually doing the asana for the breath. So this first principle is that the body movement is the breath movement. It's one and the same. This is in Ashtanga Vinyasa, there's a decent go at this, but it can be refined a lot to the body movement is the breath movement. You're using the strength of the anatomy to move the breath or to enhance the breath, to empower the breath. So when I do lift my arms up and do a back arch, see, that's all inhale. I'm giving more space in the lung cavity for more air to come in. It's all about receptivity. And if I do a forward bend, the abdominals go in and up, and that the strength of that, the abdominals moving in and up, push the diaphragm up and the breath out. So the anatomy movement of the asana is measured by the breath. That is the breath ratio and the number of breaths you can achieve without struggle. Right. The inhale is from above, the exhale is from below. These are the principles of Hatha Yoga, strength that is utterly receptive. Strength ascending through the whole body. Exhale is that strength. The inhale is receptivity, that receiving from above down through to the base of the body. So they say a yogini is synchronistically ascending and descending like this. That the breath envelops the movement. So all those folk who know about Ashtanga Vinyasa, just check out that your breath is actually surrounding the movement, or the breath is enveloping the movement. You're putting the body in an envelope of the breath. So, and there's some other things there. Asana creates bandha. Bandha is the intelligent cooperation of muscle groups in this polarity of strength that is receiving, the polarity of the inhale merging with the exhale. The state of strength that is utterly receptive is the natural state of life on earth. all the animal and the plant realm and the human realm, which is the animal realm, is all strength that is utterly receptive. It's our natural state, and yoga is there to put us in our natural state. That is to deprogram us from some of the habituated patterning that we've been socialized with, is to wash that out of our system. These principles put in there deal with that. And because it's Krishnamacharya, the teacher of Iyengar and Pattabhi Jois, put these principles in to those systems, and then you've got a full pack of cards. This is what I say.
Mark, thank you so much. Okay, I have two more questions. One is do you have, if you have imagine every yoga teacher, billions of yoga teachers are going to receive the following message from you.
Billions, that's what I want to hear.
Exactly. What is that message, that transmission, that blessing? And then I'd like to talk a little bit about your forthcoming book and your free gift for our participants. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I want to say that, for all people, this is not just for people who are already in the yoga world. It's a good thing, it's went from New York and LA, it went from Sharon and David life, as two founding examples in the US, and it just went to Europe and went to China and went to Japan and went everywhere. It's good, it's really good. And I'm saying all those folk who are doing the brands and styles of yoga, experiment with putting the principles that Krishnamacharya brought forth, the teacher of the teachers, and try putting it into those brands and styles. And then do it for yourself on a daily basis, because when it's a personal practice, it's something quite different from doing it with a group. Nothing wrong with a group. We go to church for the group. It's all good. But when you've got in your own daily lifestyle, you've got 20 minutes, half an hour, maybe 40 minutes if you're really, if you're really keen, and do your own practice at home in the way that's right for you with these principles that I've just mentioned. So there's that, the yoga sector, but then there's the rest of the public. And for the reasons that we just went through, we urge the public, anyone, not necessarily a person with religious interests, for very valid reasons, they might have dismissed it. You might be Bill Maher and you've got rid of religion, but still you want a good life. You want to feel better, and you want your relationships to go well, your intimacies to go well. So this is for the atheist, and it's for the agnostic, it's for anybody who you want to be intimate with what life actually is. So that's the message. Learn how to do this yoga for yourself and put the principles of the Yoga Tantra that Krishnamacharya very kindly brought forth for all of us, and put it into your daily life. That's a big ask, but it's a sincere ask. It's like it's asking somebody to have a decent breakfast before they go to work. It's important, have it, move and breathe, have your life, be intimate with life, and see what happens with your life and all your relationships. What was the next question?
Well, thank you for that message and blessing. And then in closing, love to hear a little bit about the free gift that you have for billions of yoga teachers that are here. You have a PDF sample, a section from your upcoming book. And so can you tell us a little bit about your book, and then we'd like to touch on a little bit about your yoga teacher training that you offer and what that's like.
Well, I proceed by saying to everybody here, to you, Christopher and Daniela, everybody listening here, you are the power of the cosmos. You actually are. That's not a spiritual statement, and it's not a piece of poetry either. The body is the cosmos, and everything is given there. If you do your asana pranayama in the way that's right for you, you are participating in this power that is what you are, right? So I have some books. I did my teacher's book, The Heart of Yoga, Jessica Jha. And then I did my own book from my own sort of background and reversed those words, Yoga of Heart, right? And then I've got the Promise of Love, Sex, and Intimacy, published by Random House. I've got the Hridaya Yoga Sutra, which is a tiny little volume with just the essence of everything in there. And then one I'm very pleased with, it's God and Sex. Now we get both. And that's a statement to, it could be two sincere people to each other. We empower each other's life, God and sex. Now we get both. We get both. Or it could be just the public statement, which I'm intending it will be a public statement in due course. I don't know how soon. It's not going to be next week, but soon. So we are now refined it all and summarized it all in a new volume that's coming out called The Promise. The Promise, you can have what you really want. And I underline the word really. You can have what you really want. So if you explore that question, what do you really want? That's a very interesting conversation to have with people. So the free gift, thank you for me, a good idea, is we're going to put out some advanced chapters of that book, and they can have it for free. Send us the email. I want them to look at the website and look at, the videos of practices. We have a course called the Immersion Course, another online teacher training program, another one which is Yoga for a Better World. And I've been delighted. These all sprung up through the pandemic, and I've been delighted how effective they've been, that people can really learn how to practice through online engaging. And then we have an online studio where we talk to students just like this on Zoom. And that's been a wonderful thing. At one point, we had 27 countries all on Zoom. And it was a great, the United Nations of friendship, So, if people want to follow through with this dialogue, and just come online, send in your email. We'll send you, a chapter that you can just get it and get the essence of what we're on about. Yeah. So.
Mark, thank you so much. That's a beautifully generous offering for our participants. And this has been such a beautiful conversation. Christopher and I are both so grateful to be here with you, and we thank you with all our hearts.
Well, thank you. And the final, very real statement to everybody, you actually are the power of the cosmos that is happening as a pure intelligence, what life actually is. You are that. And the body is in a perfect harmony with with the earth realm. That's already there, you don't have to work on yourself. It doesn't involve a struggle of, will of mind. And you know what? It doesn't even involve time, because it's already true.
Thank you, Mark.
Everybody's allowed to enjoy their life.
Yes.
Even in the midst of the nonsense that's going on, but this will make the change, and it'll quicken it'll evolve the culture of humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Mwah.
So grateful
Thank
for your
you.
time today.
Thank you all the way from, I'm
Mark.
sitting in Tamil Nadu in India to the rest of the world. We send the blessings of the Yoga Tantras out there to everybody's home everywhere. It's the New Year's offering.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Gratefully received.
Until then. Okay.
See you later.
Mark.
Bye-bye.